And
Good evening, and welcome to the UIS virtual reception. Of course, this is for our transfer students, and it's great to have you here. And congratulations on your admission. Now, my presentation is about what future Prairie Stars need to know. And one of the phrases that's used a lot with UIS, you've probably seen it in our mailings, you've seen it in our emails, is the term leadership lift. And one of the most important parts about becoming a leader is having that tool belt of knowledge, having that information that you can work with and those resources that will work with you in making you as great as you can be. Now, some of our goals for today are going to be about securing advising and registration for classes. Next steps, the to-do list. What do you do to make yourself at home at UIS? Then we'll be talking about student services and student life and making yourself at home as a student, as a person here, not just as a student. And the other thing we're going to be talking about, the final thing, is we're just going to cover any questions that arise, as well as we might have a surprise or two along the way. But before I go into any of that, I am going to hand this over to the guy who's in charge. He's my boss. And all of you out there, behave, listen to him, okay? Fernando, it's great to have you here. Fernando Planas.
thanks, Raymond. It's great to be with you tonight. I'd like to welcome you to this virtual reception for newly admitted students. As you heard from Raymond, my name is Fernando Planas. I'm Director of Admissions here at UIS, and on behalf of the administration, faculty, and staff at the university, I'd like to congratulate you on your admission and also welcome you to the university. You know, you've been admitted to a university which is an outstanding institution, and you should also know that admission to UIS is competitive and selective. So you should be very proud of the fact that you've been accepted to UIS. Now, as I mentioned, UIS is, I think, an outstanding institution. We have outstanding academics. In fact, we are regarded as one of the top regional public universities, not only in the Midwest, but in the country as well. So you have chosen a very good school, but also a school that has, I think, some terrific opportunities as well, some unique opportunities. We'll be learning more about that just a little later. So I can say with a great deal of confidence that you will find high quality, you will find a friendly and personal approach to academics and to student services here, and also that you will find preparation to get you to your eventual goals as a student, your academic goals, and also your future goals as in your chosen profession. So again, I want to congratulate you and welcome to the UIS family. Now, we put together a short video for you, so we're going to bring it up and in just a few minutes, and then we will have Raymond come back. So thank you once again very, very much.
Think about where you want to go in life. Somewhere inspired. Somewhere you can make your mark. It's a powerful vision. Now, think about what it will take to turn that vision into reality. The kind of place that specializes in opportunity, where people go not just to learn how to lead, but to explore why it's so important in the first place. That place is the University of Illinois Springfield, where leadership is lived. It's more than a logo or a slogan. It's a promise, a fundamental truth, the UIS brand. Part of the world-class University of Illinois and built upon 4 core attributes that make us who we are. Teaching focused, opportunity-rich and collaborative. A right-sized, supportive community with a tradition of educating public servants and leaders. Leadership lived. It's an affirmation of who we are and what we've always been. A place where professors are passionate about teaching and lessons of leadership are woven into the curriculum. Where connecting to the community is a given, and through that, a passion for creating a better world takes root. Where opportunities to add knowledge and shape the campus culture extend beyond the faculty and empower students who want their own voices heard. Leadership lived. An affirmation and an aspiration. It's our answer to the question, what is UIS?
Okay, well that was a good video, and I'm sure you're going to get the opportunity when you start at UIS to be able to speak with Fernando if you'd like to. Hopefully everything goes well. We won't need to go into that. Well, what's our next steps? Getting into classes. Now, if you're a transfer student, that is the most important thing about getting here at UIS, getting into your class. But how to get into class? Well, of course, walking in there, sitting down at your desk, that's the normal thing. But how do you get registered for a class? Well, you'll need advising, obviously. And obviously, you have advisors that are undergraduate advisors. You have advisors who are working within your academic departments. And then always, whenever there's a doubt, drop in the admissions office and we can get you connected in the right way. And then once you have gotten the classes in line, then it's about registration. We have some outstanding registration staff members who are able to work with you and walk you step by step through the process, whether over the phone or whether in person. So before I go into any more on that, maybe it would be good to hear from a student who's experienced that transfer advising and that transfer registration. Conan, it's nice to have you.
Nice to meet you.
So, what's your major?
It's actually clinical psychology, and I'm minoring in chemistry.
Okay. What was your registration experience like?
I did Transfer Express, actually, so I came in, just pretty much handed the admissions, all the paperwork that was required, and then they set me up with an advisor who gave me a list of classes that pertained to the major I was coming in with, and also set up some gen ed classes. I also gave her a list of classes that I had previously taken at my former school. So she just kind of worked around that. She was very helpful and made sure that the amount of credits I was getting was going to be something I could handle for the semester.
Can you talk a little bit about your advisor? How do you feel about the one you were given?
She was really helpful. I enjoyed talking with her and being able to kind of collaborate on my classes and what I needed to take and what I had already taken. It was a good process, very quick.
And one of the great things about our system, once you have been admitted, you also have a degree plan already laid out for you in DARS, Degree Audit Resource System. And on that DARS report, not just telling you what classes you have left to complete or what classes you will be continuing with, it also talks about who your advisor is. And once again, if your advisor isn't listed on your DARS, that's where you come to us, and we'll be happy to connect you to the right person. Luna, how do you feel about the progress that you're making toward your degree as a part of this registration?
It was difficult at first because there were classes that got filled up super fast. But I would definitely recommend that you stay on top of that. Talk to your advisors whenever semester is ending to make sure that you're on track for registering for the next semester. Because, like I said, classes do fill up pretty fast, and there are classes that are offered sometimes just fall and sometimes just spring. So you kind of have to make sure that you get those classes taken care of when you can. Otherwise, you will miss the deadline and have to maybe stay an extra semester or an extra year. So definitely recommend staying on top of that, talking to your advisor at all times.
And your own personal feelings, what would you recommend to any transfer student as far as UIS is concerned?
I definitely would recommend being involved on campus. If you're a commuter student, don't go home. Stay on campus as much as possible. Get involved in all the activities that campus has. Get involved, meet new people. I would suggest staying in between classes and going to the library, going to student life building, playing pool with people, like anything that you can possibly do to stay on campus and stay involved. That way you're not just going to class and then going home.
And one last very important question. If you had to pick one of these for a roommate, Amanda Bynes or Lindsay Lohan?
Honestly, I would probably do either, since both of them are drug addicts and have completely messed up their life, because we do have awesome counseling services here that you can definitely be taken to if they need any help.
We're here to serve. So, thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Now, hopefully, Amanda Bynes or Lindsay Lohan's lawyers aren't watching this right now, so. Okay. But moving on. The next subject would be about our next steps. You know, once you've gotten into your classes, once you've gotten registered for classes, what's the next thing to think about? Well, there's housing, obviously, and even now, there's probably a few spots left, but it's getting close right now. There's also our UIS bookstore, and we work on a book rental system. There's the immunization records that you need to take care of by the 10th day of classes. There's our student insurance that you may want to look into. If you're an online degree-seeking student, you do not have to worry about student insurance. But if you're an on-campus student, but you're already covered by insurance, you can, whether it's family, job, whatever, you can notify us, and as it says on this screen, you'll save $800 for the year on doing that. Not a bad piece of change. And then there's the iCard information. I'm going to hold off on that because we have a gentleman here who can share a little bit more about our iCard and our housing information. And then we have our parking hang tag. One of the great things about our campus is we have plenty of parking, so if you do bring a car, we have plenty of parking, and it's only $60 for the year for a parking hang tag, so it's very affordable. We have a parking operations office that you work with. And then finally, we have the student email. I am only good enough to point and click. Our information technology people, though, are outstanding, and they'll be more than happy to work with you on setting up your email. But we're going to stick on two big next steps, and those two big next steps are our housing information and a little bit about our iCard. So let's go here and introduce you to Scott.
How's it going to have you here, Scott? It's nice to be here.
Now, Scott, you're a former RA?
I am, actually.
And what were you an RA for?
I was a resident assistant on the west side of campus for the townhouses.
The townhouse apartments, great. And what's your major?
I'm actually a recent grad. I just got my bachelor's in English, minor in communication.
Okay. And where are you from?
I'm originally from Net Lake, Minnesota.
Ah, okay. So, hey, anyone who's from Minnesota, if you want to get in touch with him, just email me. My email's at the end. We'll be happy to connect you guys. Now, what's important for our transfers to remember for university housing?
It's really important to remember, especially if you haven't applied yet, if you're considering it, that all of our units, east or west campus, so townhouses or apartments, come fully furnished. You've got couches, some chairs in the living room, stove, oven, refrigerator, and all the rooms have twin-size bed, a desk chair, dresser. It's pretty normal amenities that you find in most apartment complexes, to be honest. So.
And everything's covered in the total cost?
Yep, everything is covered in the total cost that you pay for your housing. Utilities, so you're not paying anything extra for that.
And what would our transfers want to do when they get on campus? Those who are living on campus in our housing, what would you recommend that they should do to get used to the housing community?
Well, in regards to the community, I would definitely recommend, one, reaching out to your roommates. If you're living in the townhouses or apartments, you'll have roommates. So being intentional about reaching out to them, and then even reaching out to your RA and the different things that are going on, because the RA has to do programs for that area, so you automatically have them in there. But also being intentional about just exploring campus, because there's a lot going on, pretty much all the time.
And then, what's the one thing, separate from housing, it could just, you touch any subject you want, what's the one thing you would recommend for our transfer students as they come to UIS?
For transfer students coming to UIS, I would definitely just recommend taking advantage of all the activities that we've put on. I think we have 80 plus different student orgs and clubs that are putting activities on pretty much any day of the week. You can find something. So I would really just recommend taking some time and just going to stuff. UIS isn't exactly in the thick of Springfield, so we have to find things to do. But the nice thing is there are things to do here. You just have to get yourself there.
Keep asking, keep looking.
Yep, keep asking, keep looking, and people want to go for a little walk.
And then one last question, maybe the most important, I'm not sure. Favorite cartoon?
Oh, Tom and Jerry.
Tom and Jerry.
Tom and Jerry.
Going old school.
Oh,
I like that.
Okay.
Well, Scott, thank you for being here.
No problem.
And hey, if you're looking to talk to someone who needs and you need to know more about housing, or if you just want to commiserate over Tom and Jerry or the Badgers. No, not Badgers. Sorry, Golden Gophers.
It's the Gophers.
I am so sorry. The Gophers.
Come on.
If you want to commiserate over them too, please be in touch with them. So, thanks.
Yep.
Now our next subject matter is financial aid. Now, obviously, once you've gotten situated at UIS, gotten comfortable with us, it's making sure that you have everything in order. And the first thing, if you haven't thought about it yet, it's FAFSA. Federal application for federal, or free application for federal student aid is very important. Our financial aid office doesn't do anything without your FAFSA. Even if you're covered by a veterans grant or covered by anything else, we need your FAFSA information, not just for grants and loans, but also if you have gotten any kind of scholarships or want to be eligible for any kind of scholarships at UIS, or if you want to be considered for any student employment. And we'll be talking a little bit about that in a moment. Our code for FAFSA is 009333 at UIS. And our payment, there are payment options. A lot of students are sometimes wanting to know, can I pay more than just once? The regular deadline to pay is September 28th for this upcoming fall. But there are options, starting with the 12-month payment plan, which the deadline is June 27th, to take care of that. But there are other 9, 6-month, other type of payment plans you can also structure with our student account services office. And then if you have any outside scholarships that you've received that have not already been reported to financial aid, you need to get in touch with them about that. And then we're going to talk a little bit about campus life. Now, we have a wonderful young lady who's going to be here to talk a little bit about student life for her. But before we go to that, you know, the other thing that a lot of students want, especially our transfer students, are the different services that we can provide here. And some of the services include child care center. We do have child care available from 8 in the morning till 6 o'clock in the evening. There is the counseling center, which is available. You know, Poonam mentioned it in sort of a playful, trivial way, but seriously, we have a great counseling service center with great certified professional counselors available for you. And then we also have disability services. There are a number of our people who work with disability services that are able to work with our students, not just themselves, but they know the resources in Springfield, Sangamon County, and also we're in the state capital, so there are some state agencies that we can avail ourselves to serve each and every student and their unique needs. And then, of course, there's a career development center. I always tell students within the first couple of weeks that they're here, get in touch with the Career Development Center. Every one of you watching probably has an idea of what you want to achieve when you graduate from UIS, and that usually includes a job. And you may already have a job in mind. And if you have that job in mind, talk to Career Development. They can talk with you about career trends, hiring trends, salary trends, even regional trends. Where are they hiring the job you want to go into? So there's a lot of options there, but the other parts of this would be student life. Now, one of the nice things about student life is there is the first week event, and there's so many, I couldn't remember all of them, so I put them on sheet. We have our transfer student reception, so we are taking time out just for our transfer students. We also have a movie on the quad. They haven't set up the movie yet, but there's plenty of time. There's also an ice cream social. Now, how nice is that? Usually you just get that at churches. You get this at a state university. Ice cream, multiple flavors, really nice. And Chancellor's Picnic. It's really fun, great food out there, great music, some entertainment also. And then right after the Chancellor's Picnic, we have a hypnotist that evening. So maybe someone will be able to make you cluck like a chicken. That'd be kind of nice. Maybe. There's also S'mores by the Fire over at our Stars Lounge. There's an improv group that we're going to be hosting on Thursday night. There's a block party on Friday night that we're hosting. And then Night's Action Park, almost all day. Night's Action Park, that's Saturday. So some great opportunities, followed by, obviously, the end of the week, the Welcome Week concert that will also be hosted. So there's a lot of opportunities for our first week events, and we'll be talking with our student a little bit about that too. And then we have the Involvement Fair, which allows you to meet with all of our student organizations. We have over 80 of them. And then there are going to be dozens and dozens of offices for UIS as well as Springfield community groups that want to reach out to you, the college student, the UIS student. And then finally, we also have a little town called Springfield that's nearby. And with that town, 120,000, not that small. I'm going to be honest with you. We're not Chicago, we're not St. Louis, but at the same time, we do offer a lot. You've heard a few of our students talk about the opportunities in Springfield. We're going to move over here and talk to Gela, who, like Hunim and Scott, is one of our orientation leaders. And we'll be talking a little bit about student life. Now, Gela, where are you from?
I'm from Chicago, Illinois, Southside.
Southside. Okay, and what's your major?
My major is criminal justice, and my minor in business administration.
Okay. Now, could you talk a little bit about our first week events? Which ones stood out for you?
Well, one of them that really stood out to me was the movie on quad, because I was able to bring a chair and I was able to bring a blanket and sit out on the quad with other freshman students and transfer students, and we just had a nice time and we came together and saw a movie that we all had in common. Another thing that we do is a concert on the quad. So I'm a part of SAC, the Students Activities Committee, and we bring the performer down, we set up a big stage, and everybody's invited to the concert, and it's just a nice time together. And
you mentioned student activities. What are some other groups you've become a part of and become involved in at UIS?
Well, I'm Students Activities Committee. I'm the comedy coordinator for Legacy Dance Team. I'm the secretary. I'm an orientation leader, of course, and for Creative Flow, I'm the vice president.
Okay. And what's the Creative Flow? What's that organization?
Creative Flow is for the creative minds on campus, so we put together plays. We also do little events. So we do Motown in Your Town, and it's about bringing Motown, the Jackson 5, Temptations, and we do little recreations of it, and it's just like a party, and we do little skits in between it.
Now, we're talking a little bit about Springfield because we are a smaller university, only about 5,200 students, 5,100, 5,200 students. So we can't provide all the events that a larger state university might be able to provide, but we have a great city in Springfield. And I'm wondering, what are some of the places in Springfield or parts of Springfield you've enjoyed the most?
I always like Walmart. A lot of my friends and I take trips to Walmart, and it turns into a big ordeal for some reason. I don't know why. We would stay in the Toys R Us, and we would act like little kids. But we also have a mall, White Oaks Mall, and it has a lot of good stores in it, and it's a lot of great food places around it. We have one Darcy's. Everybody doesn't know it, but it's known for its pony shoes out here in Springfield. We also have Chipotle and Popeyes and other things like that. I like to go to the movies with my friends. That's a nice chill spot to go hang out, release and stress and things like that.
Okay. And for our transfer students, especially with our transfer students who are coming in, many of them may be working full-time or have families, what would you recommend to them who are coming in as transfers to U of I?
As the two said before, from Scott, I would say get involved. Because you know nobody on campus, you're new, and UIS is like a family. Like you will gravitate towards a group of people because they will see you and they will pull you in. You just have to find a common interest, get involved. There's always something to do on campus.
Okay. There's always something to do. You just have to keep asking, keep looking, as we talked about before. One last question, and I know this might be the toughest one. White Sox or Cubs?
So I'm not a big history fan. I don't like history. But I do know that the Cubs have not won in 112 years. So how would I go with them? Like White Sox are all the way.
Okay. And we have a few people cheering in the background now, so. Well, Gela, thanks for being here. And one of the things we're also going to be talking about, definitely in the next section, is about transfer orientation events that we're having, our transfer orientation open houses. And all the students who've spoken to you today are some of our transfer orientation leaders, some of our better transfer orientation leaders. So keep an eye out for all of them as you come to UIS. Thanks, Dad.
No problem.
Now, the other part, so we talked about getting involved in student life, we talked about financial aid, we talked about getting admitted, getting registered. We talked a little bit of housing and other parts of UIS, but then we also need to think about, some of you might want to find a job on campus. What better place to find a job than while you're going to school than that school itself? And we have a lot of student worker positions on campus. And beginning July 1st, you can go on to our UIS Career Connect website, which is connected to the Career Development Center, to check out some of the openings that we have on campus. Now, those openings you'll have to check every week because there's more and more openings that'll be mentioned, whether it's working in the library, whether it's working as a receptionist, whether it's being one of our student admissions ambassadors. There's a lot of jobs on campus, and you may want to keep in mind Career Connect. Now, along with that, we have our transfer orientation. I've mentioned it a little bit. Transfer orientation is not like a college freshman orientation. You've done college now. You know what college is. I hope you do. And as a part of that, then, really what we need to do is take care of the business that you need to take care of. Some of what I've already talked about in the next steps. But this is an opportunity also to hear a little bit more of the helpful hints of how to get the right advisor, what you need to ask your advisor when you're choosing out your classes, and then how to decide what kind of class schedule you need. And then we'll talk a little bit about financial aid during that transfer orientation. And of course, we're going to show you around to show you where your classes will be. Now, there's also our transition services. And the wonderful thing about this new office that we have at UIS with transition services, especially for our transfer students, is they are there expressly for you, the transfer student, the person who is experiencing UIS for the first time. They are there to answer your questions. They are there to give you helpful hints. And at times, they are there to advocate for you. So you definitely want to avail yourself of our transition services office. And then one last tip that I would like to give you. And this is something we haven't really talked a lot about, but this is such an important part of what makes UIS the right school for so many students. And that is the Applied Study Term Office. Now that's related to our internships. UIS has internships for every major. If you want an internship, you're getting an internship. The opportunity for an internship isn't just something in which it could be pre-vocational. You get good references, great stuff for your resume. It's also closing out your degree, closing out your education. You're putting into real-life work what you've been learning in the classroom. So that's what's great about our internships. Maybe you want to utilize that AST office to find the right internship for you. Maybe you already know which internship you want to be involved in. Whatever that is, within the first couple weeks you're here at UIS, talk to our AST office. They're waiting for you. They want to help you. They want to match you to the right place. Now, for those of you who are more competitive, who've been watching this and been listening to this, maybe you want to be involved in an activity that can get you a prize. Go to Facebook, and you can see our Facebook website. The post that gets the most comments by June 18th, so a week from today. Post a comment, post a statement, post a thought on Facebook. Whichever one gets the most comments wins you a beautiful, lovely prize package of UIS materials, UIS gear. And that'll be something that you can brandish with you from the time that you start your classes here to when you're talking to your grandchildren about your great experience at UIS. So, okay, maybe. I think you'll like our prize package. So now it leaves us up to questions. And I can tell by a few of you that are out there, sir, there's some cracker crumbs, right? Yeah, you, okay. Yeah. I can tell by a few others out there too, who are actually still paying attention, that you may have some questions. And I hope we have a lot of questions that are able to be asked that I can try to answer as best I can. The first question is, what clubs and services are available for online students? Well, we actually have an online student center on our student government. So that is an important thing. About a quarter of our students that attend U of I Springfield attend online programs, online degree-seeking programs. So it is important to get the voice of the student who's in the online program. Other than that, I think we have a developing student organization for just online students. I'm assuming you meet virtually, I can only assume. But yeah, we do have some things. We don't have a lot of things because, of course, with an online degree-seeking student, you're all about the classes, right? So, when will we find out if we've won any scholarships? Well, we have what we call institutional scholarships, and that's between December 1st and February 15th for all entering students for the fall, and also for all current students who are returning for this next fall. They meet for their over 90 scholarships that are out there. That means there are over 90 committees that are out there who are choosing who gets those scholarships. They're meeting from the 1st of March all the way through even now. So I know it's not the type of answer you want, that you just have to sit tight and wait, because it isn't just about who finishes number one. It could be, if they're not coming, someone else gets it, or if that person's not coming, the third person might get it. So all I can say is contact our financial aid office, stay in touch with them about that, or when in doubt, contact someone like myself, transfer coordinator at UIS. Now, we have a question from a student that says, why choose UIS over other Illinois universities? See, I don't want to be mean to the other universities. I just think we're the best. But having said that, I think one of the great things about UIS is our small personal nature. You're going to get a private school education for a public school price. And then you have that University of Illinois diploma attached to it. You have practically your choice of internships within reason. So that's something you're not going to find at other state universities. I think the other part of this is that, especially with certain majors, being in the state capital can be an advantage. Not just for those who are in political science or in criminal justice or legal studies. It can be great for those who are going into the business fields, environmental studies, anything where you know that the state government is going to have an agency, or maybe even a group here lobbying those agencies. You're going to have opportunities to make connections that could serve you very well into the future. How safe is the campus? I think our campus is the safest in the state. Now, it helps that we're the smallest. It helps that we have a very strong police response time, very quick police response time. We have blue phones located all over the campus. We're a very well-lit campus. We even have situations where our campus police, if you call them and wait, will escort you back to your car or back to your apartment. So I think it's a very safe campus. How is the food on campus? Well, obviously, as you can tell with me, food's pretty good. I love our food. We have a food court type of arrangement in our campus emporium, and then we also have a grill on another part of our campus, and then on the east side of the campus we have a snack bar. The foods are really good. You're not going to have a Pizza Hut on campus or a McDonald's on campus. These are really fresh, well-made meals, and also very, very dietary conscious. So if you let our food service people know that you have a certain need, whether it's gluten-free or something like that, you let them know. They'll take care of it. How far are the suburbs from Springfield? I'm assuming you're talking about the Chicago suburbs. How far are the suburbs from Springfield? I'd say, depending on where you're coming from, if you're on the south side of Chicago, it's probably about 3 hours, 3.5 hours. If you're in Grays Lake or McHenry or some of the schools that are on the northwest end of the Chicago area, maybe you're pushing out for, maybe, depending on the traffic, 4.5 hours to get down here. So that was a good question. Ryan from Oak Lawn, he asked, how are the sports teams? Well, take a long breath. Okay. UIS used to be part of the National Association of Intercollegiate Athletics, NAIA. When we were part of that, we were pretty successful across the board with our sports teams. We were in nationals, we were in regionals, we were always in winning records. But As we moved into NCAA Division II, we moved up another notch in competition. Obviously, we're going to take our bumps, we're going to take our beatings, our bruises, as being part of NCAA Division II. But the great thing is, once you get in, you start building up the kinds of students that are coming to play for your teams. You start building up the types of fans and others who are covering your teams. So from that standpoint, I think our sports teams are doing well, and they're definitely improving. How much does a parking permit cost? $60. And is it worth bringing your car to campus? I think it's worth bringing your car to campus as a transfer student. Now, we do have great service from Springfield Mass Transit System. All of taxi services provide help for us also. We also have different options as far as campus shuttles that are available too. But how easy, do you need a car? No. But if you have a car, since we're just outside the city of Springfield, it can be a very convenient thing. Well, I know it looks like our questions are kind of drying up. So one of the things I want to let you know, as some of our students who are going to be greeting you, I want them to come up and speak, or not just speak with you, just say hi and kind of make you feel welcome, because they're going to be saying goodbye now. Come on in. But while they're coming in to say goodbye, and of course they're going to be the first ones that you usually say hi to if you come to the transfer orientation, I want you to keep in mind, with UIS, one of the great things about us is that we are student-led. This is leadership lift. We want you to be involved. And some of those who are involved are these great students right here, who are here to say, not just say goodbye, but hopefully we'll see you soon. So, everyone,
Okay.
bye.